Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Pamela Ehota. It's been a minute. I haven't been here. So many things have happened. Life happened. But here I am today, and I came bearing gifts. I came with my spouse, with my mighty good man, Samuel. Samuel, thank you for joining me today. So, today, all we talk about is intimacy and marriage, everything relationship and everything in between. So, today, I want to talk about spiritual intimacy. Yes, we know that intimacy is the closeness, the familiarity between couples. It's what they feel, the connection. Like I would say, intimacy. Intimacy, my connection, see my vulnerability, see how I love you, see how I am open to you, and love me for who I am. And so we want to see, there are different types of intimacy. There is emotional, there is spiritual, there is intellectual, there's recreational. So these are ways that couples can bond with each other and enjoy their lives together. Because just because you have said I do doesn't mean intimacy sets in. You have to do the work. You have to connect with your spouse in various areas and angles. And so today I want to talk about connecting with your spouse spiritually, enjoying spiritual intimacy with your spouse. How do you go about it? Is it important? We have people who are in different, they have different spirituality, understanding of spirituality. They understand things differently. And so, but because they love each other and they feel they connect, and so they say they can handle the other aspect of spirituality, of spiritual intimacy not really affecting them. So they're like, oh, you do your thing, I do my thing. But I am of the belief and school of thought that says that for us to enjoy intimacy and be in this marriage and relationship together, everything should be in sync with each other. So if I'm in alignment with you, then I'm ready and good to go. So Sam, today we're talking about spiritual intimacy. And spiritual intimacy, it has to do with couples understanding their spirituality and growing together and being intimate in that aspect. So what is your take on spiritual intimacy? Because there are people who are, in this part of the world, Africa, we are very and deeply religious people. And so we go to our various houses of worship, and we believe in different things. So I am of the opinion that spouses, as much as they can, that believe in, have the same spiritual understanding and spirituality, like, oh, you're a Christian, I believe you should pair with a Christian and be married, or you are a Muslim, you should marry a Muslim, or you're an atheist, you don't believe in anything, so you get someone like that. My take is that if you are not in sync with your spouse spiritually, there are going to be days you have issues, because we're not going to be making love all the time. We're not going to be laughing all the time. We're not going to be having emotional connection. There are some days we crave, because human beings, we are created for spiritual connection. And so if you have that craving within you to connect with a higher being, and your definition of a higher being is different from my definition of a higher being, there are going to be clashes. So what is your take on it, on spiritual intimacy?
Okay, before we start that, let me just say two things, basically. I think the first I want to say is, can two work together except they agree?
Okay.
And the second one goes such, the family that prays together stays together.
Okay.
We are not yet talking about specific religions, but truly, I believe as a couple, you need to share the same religious orientation. Because can you imagine the chaos that would be in a home if, for instance, I'm having a Muslim revival, and at the same time my spouse is having a Christian revival? It would be war. That would be the real definition of warfare.
But we can say that we are not doing it at the same time, and people can now say, oh, when we talk about religious tolerance, then you should have that starting in your home.
Well, I see there's a difference in religious tolerance. Because when you say religious tolerance, it's for me to accept your religion, you accept your beliefs, your norms. But you see, when it's now as a couple, interestingly, I always tell people I'm Christian, and it says, look, for this reason a man shall leave his or father and mother, and cleave. You see, when you check the dictionary meaning of cleave, it means two things or people coming together that there is no, like as you say, those iota of space in between them. They become one. So once you are becoming one, that means even when you have religious difference, once you come together, one person has to relinquish his own religious views and beliefs and accept the other.
Wait,
So
wait. You say relinquish. That is a
yes,
strong word.
because
Can you soften
no,
it?
look, you see, unfortunately, I love you is I love you. I hate you is I hate you.
Oh, that's a strong word.
Yeah, so when you want to soften, that means you now want to start going into diplomacy. No, because you see, both of you, as I said, you've come together. You are no longer two entities, you've become one. So imagine as a human being or as a singular entity, you have two different beliefs. You are going to be in constant turmoil. Interestingly, this is taking this spirituality, and I like this angle to a different view, because we need to be in sync. We need to be together, and that is the one. Unfortunately, they tell you it's only a married 1+1 is 1. So that is it. When you come together, you have to give. One person needs to give. I'm not going to say it must be this or that, but one person needs to give so that the home can be united. Imagine now, interestingly, the Muslim also have their prayers on Sundays. So then it was easier when it was on Fridays. You say, "Oh, I'll go to the mosque on Friday and do my Muslim religious activities on Friday. Then on Sunday, I'll do that for my Christian activities." But now everybody's on Sunday. So how do we do it? Do you split yourself into two? Because you see, there will be constant conflict. And when you have conflict constantly, that means you have to also have constant conflict resolution. So you are spending so much time in resolving what shouldn't be. That's another mind.
So what you are saying now is, just because both of us, we do not have the same place of religious worship, we cannot enjoy intimacy spiritually. There are no days that we can sit down and talk about things that we can have a common line. Look, and say spiritual level.
Even in the same religious orientation, let's look like the Christians. In the Christians, you have the Catholics, the Anglicans, the Methodists,
these are just
they now call,
denominations.
they now call the charismatic, is even another arm of the Catholics. Then you have the Pentecostals and all. You see, while we now try to sync it all, we'll find out that there are modes of prayers. They differ.
Okay.
So it is for you. You see, understand, I'm not saying you must accept one and jettison the other. You must be able to, when you are coming together, you know what you are bringing to the table. Then when you bring it to the table, it might take time, because you might, it's like putting, let me use this lovely example. You want to get the finest of Gary. You now put it in the sieve.
What is Gary? Cassava flakes.
Sorry, I thought I was talking to all African audience, Nigerian African audience. You put it in a sieve, then you shake it in order to take out the lumps, so that all what you have is the fine particles. It's like even in sand, they do it. It's sedimentation. So you now do that, and at the end of the day, you come out with a prototype that suits your family, that suits your relationship. They say part of the definition of intimacy, which I liked, was what was that term just now? Familiarity. And I found it clear that, you see, you are so familiar that you know basically what this person is thinking. I know when he gets up in the morning, this is what he's going to do. Or better say, let me say, since we are talking about spiritual connotation, when he wakes up at night, he's going to do X, Y, Z, spiritually. Then you can be asleep, okay, he's taking care of me at that point, or she's taking care of me at that point. You have your own spiritual understanding with one another.
But there are couples who do not have the same spiritual orientation, in the sense that they're of different religion, and they have been happily married.
Yes, I'm not saying you're not going to be happily married.
But you're enjoying intimacy.
Yes, you will enjoy intimacy. But interestingly, in the spiritual realm, you will be separated. I know of an elderly couple. The man is Muslim, the woman is Christian, and they still operate their various religions, and they're happily married. I have to give to. They are very, very happily married.
Are you sure we'll not go and interview them, find out how they have been able to
maybe
sync that
because I just as
together?
The man does this activity. You see, the point is, I don't think it's synced because I see them doing. They are happy together.
Okay.
One, let's say that as a fact. But they do their religious activities separately. And I'm saying, look,
the whole idea
is for everybody to sync.
Okay.
You don't come together and do it as one, not do it as separately. Yes, the man assists the wife when it comes to the Christian activities. The woman also assists and carry out the Muslim activities when it comes to, let's say, Salah, for instance, the cleaning of the ram and all those. Yes, she does all that. But I am in the place of worship. I do not see them worshiping together. Okay. That is the point there.
So they have been able to tolerate themselves and say, you know what, just because we do not have the same belief, but they have the same understanding spiritually, like, we have the same God, and so we are in tandem.
The issue of God is a different concept.
I know, I don't want to go deep into all of that. So in spirituality, we talk about, because I understand where you're coming from, because in spiritual intimacy, there are times like both of you need to sit together and share together. And so because they do not have the same faith and beliefs, they cannot really sit and share together.
Exactly.
Because you might say something that is different in my own faith or religion. And so we might have to have a bit of an argument, which is not necessary. But if we come together as a couple spiritually, and in spiritual intimacy, we talk about defining the spirituality of your union. So if we say that this union, our spirituality, that God is the head of this home, and that we agree that he is the unseen guest, and that he is involved in everything we do, and so we are together. But then, so in everything we do, we have the same mindset and orientation spiritually, because we have defined our spirituality, the concept of spirituality within this relationship.
Okay, before we come to a close, I think another topic intending couples, let me use that term, should probably discuss, not necessarily with the third party, just between themselves. Okay. How are we going to be spiritually once we consolidate our union? Because why am I saying this? I have a friend, and because they were from different Christian backgrounds, when they got married, they were basically at home on Sundays. But I think
why?
Maybe they couldn't decide. I don't know, because the day I tried asking, it wasn't accepted, so it wasn't a topic we brushed. But I just left it. But you need to decide as in, okay, different Christian background, different Muslim backgrounds, whatever it is. After we come together, what do we do? So that we know we are in agreement with it. So that if we are not in agreement and we see it's a breaker, then maybe we'll go our separate ways. If we see that it's not an issue, we go on with it. But because at a time, in every relationship, there will be a religious test, a spiritual test that you would need to call on your God. Be you Christian, be you Muslim, be you traditionalist, you would need to call on your God. When that point comes, then how do you people stay? Because both of you must be in sync. If you are not in sync, that prayer will be difficult to be heard and answered.
But they can pray separately now.
Yes, but like we Christians say, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in his name.
Yeah, but that's your belief, and the other person has a different belief.
So if already I cannot gather in 2 or 3, what is now the issue? It's just the thing. It's not for you. You determine, you decide, then you take it on from there.
Okay, so in talking about spiritual intimacy, so we are saying that as a couple, if you want to enjoy intimacy, because intimacy is about closeness, it's about taking your relationship to a new level.